Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Inspired Messenger Show. We are here to empower you to share your unique gifts with the world while creating a joyful life of meaning and purpose. I am Mark Porteous, author of Maximizing Your Human Experience and co-founder of the Inspired Messengers Network. And I'm very grateful to be here today with one of the leaders in the transformation industry, Christy Whitman. And I had the honor recently of being interviewed by Christy for her launch of her newly released New York Times bestseller, The Art of Having It All. She's appeared on The Today Show, The Morning Show, and her work has been featured in People Magazine, 17, Women's Day, Hollywood Life, and Teen Vogue, among many others. Christy is the CEO and founder of Quantum Success Coaching Academy, a 12-month Law of Attraction coaching certification program. And Christy has helped thousands of people worldwide to achieve their goals through her empowerment seminars, speeches, and coaching sessions and products. Christy's life-changing message reaches over 125,000 people every month, and her work has been promoted by and featured with esteemed authors, luminaries such as Marianne Williamson, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Marcy Shimoff, Brian Tracy, Neil Donald Walsh, Abraham Hicks, and Louise Hay. She currently lives in Montreal with her husband, Frederick, and their two boys, Alexander and Maxim. Hello, Christy. Welcome.
Hi, Mark. I'm so thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm really, really grateful for you sharing some of your wisdom and knowledge with all of those out there that are trying to find a way to share their message in a bigger way. And I know that we're going to go over a lot of stuff today that'll really help them to see what the possibilities are just from your own life.
Beautiful.
You have, in fact, you are a living example of what having it all is. And when we last spoke, you asked me my definition of having it all, and I hope I'm not putting you on the spot, but I would love to hear your definition of how, of what having it all means to you, and how you've gone about creating this amazing life for yourself.
Absolutely. You know, having it all means for me is I look at each of the different aspects of my life, whether it's my body, whether it's my finances, my career. So I have a picture and an image and a feeling sense of what that means in all aspects of my life, every different part of my life, my time with my kids, what's having it all, you know, when I'm spending time with my kids, what's having it all when I'm in a relationship with my husband, what's having it all in my finances and my career. So I look at all the different aspects of my life, and for me, it's really become really having it all is having it all moments all throughout my day, every day. Being able to show up in my career, and you know, I taught a creating money class today to a bunch of amazing people, and getting people to shift their relationship with money and that sort of thing. That was like a having it all moment, many moments, 60-minute moments of just pure having it all, being able to give my gifts and teach. So it's for me, having it all is really allowing the fullness of who I am in the moment that I'm in to just be there, be present, and could be I'm working my finances, or I'm in my career, or I'm exercising, or I'm with my husband. It's having that full presence of self. That's having it all for me.
That's beautiful. Yes, I love that having it all moments and tying those all together. And you've got an incredible life. You know, like me, you got two beautiful children. I love your Enlightened Kids program, and we could talk about that. But I'm really curious to hear how you got where you are today. You've been running this program for many years, and you work with these amazing other luminaries. How did it all begin for you?
Well, you know, when I learned about the universal laws, and it was about 18 years ago, and I wasn't in a good place. I'm definitely not the person today that I was then. I tell this story, and it reminds me of like an old country western song. You know, it's like I was you know, $60,000 in debt. I just gotten out of a relationship with a bad guy. It was like I always seemed to attract the kind of worst guys for me. I had moved from Chicago to California to be with this bad guy, and had no support system, no family, no friends around me. I was 30 pounds overweight. I quit my job. So it's like, you know, I look at all the different aspects of our lives where we kind of measure our successes, and I had no success. I actually had what I didn't want in all aspects of my life. And it was in that moment, it's like, okay, clearly my life is not working. And that's when I was open, and that's when I learned about meditation. And my meditation teacher started talking to me. She didn't like say, okay, well, this is the law of attraction. This is the law of sufficiency and abundance. But what she did say to me is that we're attracting or repelling things to us all the time by the thoughts that we think, by the emotions that we have. And so I took that concept to heart, and I started paying attention to how was I feeling, what was I thinking. And I was so negative and so critical and so judgmental, and I didn't feel good about who I was. I didn't feel good about life in general. So I started deliberately choosing my thoughts and choosing the feelings that I did want to feel. And it was amazing. It was like overnight, things just started happening, shifting. I started releasing weight. I got recruited to move to Sacramento, California to work for Pepsi-Cola, where I was getting paid a lot of money. Met a wonderful guy I was in an 8-year relationship with. Maintained my size 4 body for years. I got out of debt within a couple of years. I mean, things were just magically opening up. And so here I am now 18 years later, and it's like I'm a totally different person. I love my life. I have my size 4 body after 2 kids, and it's like I exercise and I eat well, but it's not like I'm obsessed like I used to be. I'm more about health than I am trying to look a certain way. Financially, it's like I have money in the bank. I get to have the vacations that I want to take. Career-wise, I'm totally serving and living on purpose and passion. I mean, every aspect of my life. I have a wonderful, amazing, heart-connected, soul-connected man. 2 wonderful children. So it's like my life completely changed because I worked with the principles all along the way. And I'm just blessed that I now get to teach people the same principles that changed my life.
And I love that part of it for you is being able to be fulfilling your purpose and serving others. It's a major piece of success for me as well. And again, you were working for Pepsi-Cola and made this shift. How did that happen using the law of attraction, or what was it that made that shift for you?
Well, for me, it was like, okay, what I don't want is to not have a job or a way to get out of debt. So for me, it was like I want to start feeling like I'm abundant or at least successful. And so when I started feeling that way, I had a recruiter call me and say, I want you to interview for this job in Sacramento. And I was living in the Bay Area. And I was like, no, I turned her down. And she called me back and she was like, no, this is a perfect position for you. This is perfect for you. And I kept saying no. And finally I'm like, why am I saying no? I was allowing my success to, that feeling of success, and here's an opportunity that's showing itself. I'm like, I want to go look at that opportunity at least. And when I did, it was like, it just felt right. It was great because I was able to move to Sacramento. I was able to get a little small 1-bedroom apartment, which in the Bay Area, I couldn't afford my own apartment, and I didn't know anybody to room with. And so I was living in a room in a very strange woman's house. So here it allowed me to get my own apartment, live by myself, kind of create my own little nest egg. And it was, something that when I kept saying no, 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 even though I was feeling this like amazing success, when I finally said yes, it's like things started flowing for me.
And that's such a beautiful story because I personally can very much relate to that, the whole idea of wanting to be of service, but also wanting an abundant life and being able to take care of ourselves. And I'm sure you must deal with this with the thousands of coaches that you've trained in that whole making the leap part, because a lot of times people are so stressed out about making a successful coaching business, and we get these numbers about being able to build a 6-figure business, and so we might leave a corporate job instead of kind of building more organically. For me, that really is important, the idea about being able to support yourself. How did you move from that into coaching in the first place?
Well, it's interesting. I had a book. My path began because I became an author. I had a book that literally came through me, and once I got the book in my hand, it was like it was sent to me by the publisher, and all my family and friends had bought the book. Oprah wasn't calling, so I'm like, well, how do I get to people to know about this book? So I started speaking in like spiritual bookstores and metaphysical bookstores, metaphysical churches, and I had people asking me that were in my seminars, do you coach? And I had never heard of life coaching. I'm like, do you mean? Like a football coach, cheerleading coach? I literally was just like clueless. And they're like, no, like a life coach. You know, do you coach people on the material that you're talking about? And I'm like, just call me on the phone. I'll help you through. You know, so I was helping people through meditations and through processes, and they were shifting and their lives were changing. And I was like, wow, so what's this life coaching thing about anyway? Like, I could actually get paid well to help people, like help them in their lives. So I went to school for it, and I started coaching on the weekends and on in the evenings while I had my full-time job that actually paid the bills. And I did it, and it was amazing, like how drained I would feel from my job. But the minute I would get on a coaching call, and the minute someone would shift, I would feel so alive. It was like I felt enlivened by the coaching calls, whereas I felt drained by working, you know, in my corporate job that I had. And so things just kind of converged all at the same time. And in 2008, it was just time for me to go full time. And it was that moment where it's like, of course, I was very fearful. I had this great paycheck coming in. You know, it's like, can I do this? And I just took the step. And you know what I recommend for people that are in my coaching academy, the QSCA, is build your business, build it up, build your skill set.
Uh-oh.
You know, while you're doing other
Christy,
things,
you're breaking up a little bit.
and you'll know that moment when it's like, I need to go full time and do this.
Oh no. Um, Christy, you're frozen up right now, and I realize.
I can't hear you, Mark. Can you hear me?
Christy, are you still there?
I am.
Sorry, I lost you for a minute. I see you again.
Yay!
I apologize. And you had just started talking about when you're in the coaching academy, you're encouraging people to build their business while they're still doing their other day job that's paying the bills.
Absolutely, you know, because I think each person will know when it's their time to transition. And for me, when I just kind of knew it felt like in order for me to build the business that I'm wanting to build, I need to devote more time and more of my energy. And this other area was really draining my energy. And so I was able to, it's like everything just kind of came to a head, and it was like, now is the time for me to go and to leave and to do this full time. And I'm so glad that I did, because I wouldn't have been able to create everything that I've created now had I stayed at my corporate job.
That's fantastic. And for anybody who is listening, you do have a free training series that you're doing right now. And we're offering that at inspiredmessengersnetwork.com/QSCA, Quantum Success Coaching Academy. Tell us a little bit about this video training series, because I'm in it, and I've started watching the videos. It's very, very inspiring.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you know, we talk about a lot of, like, people want to know, like, really what is coaching? What does it entail? You know, like, you know, you hear of this life coaching thing, like I was years ago, like, what is life coaching and how do you do it? And, you know, do you need an office? And, you know, what do you need to actually be a coach? And what does coaching look like? Is it therapy? Is it psychology? Like, you know, what's the difference? Or is it just me giving, I give advice to my friends. Is that coaching? You know, so we really go through the distinctions of what's the difference between a therapist and a psychologist and even a consultant and a coach and a friend that gives good advice, to, you know, a lot of misperceptions and mis kind of out there about coaching. A lot of people think, well, I'm too old, you know, to change a profession, or, well, I don't have any, you know, I didn't go and get a degree, so I can't go and serve people, or I'm too young. You know, what do I know about life coaching, or how would I know about life to be able to, you know, coach people on, or I have to be perfect in order to be a coach. You know, it's a big one. My life's not perfect yet, so how could I be a coach? So we go through a lot of the misperceptions that people have, and the misperceptions about coaching in general that people have. We even talk about, like, how to coach, how to market yourself as a coach, because marketing, a lot of people are like, marketing, you know. It's not the same way you market yourself as a coach as you would, you know, a typical other business. So we talk about abundance type of marketing and how to get your first client, and, you know, really the ins and outs of coaching. So it's pretty much like, if you ever even had the inkling of, like, could I want to do, you know, what is coaching? I want to know more about it. It's a great series to learn more about it. And then what happens to people is like, oh my gosh, that's me. I feel like you're talking to me. And that's exciting because it opens up a whole new possibility. It's like, you know, you can't rebirth a baby, and, you know, you can't put the baby back kind of thing after you birth a baby. And that's really what happens to people when they watch this series, because it's like, now their whole perspective of, wow, this actually exists. I can actually get paid to help people and do what I want and be of service, and you know, have my time be my own, and I get to be my own boss, and all that. So it's amazing.
But it's interesting. There's a couple things that you had said that I can really relate to about one, as an author. When I wrote my book, it was my wife who said, well, "You've got this book now. Now what are you going to do?" Because just like you, I didn't want to go back to the job that I had, and I didn't know about life coaching. She was the one who first told me about it. And I think anybody that is an author or is thinking about writing a book, this is a great way to parlay that information, and definitely want to be a coach. We also have a lot of people who already are coaches. What's the value for somebody who may have already started coaching, has a coaching career? Will they also be able to get benefit? Because you mentioned about the attracting clients. That's one of the biggest challenges that most of the coaches that I know have is, you know, how do I get enough clients so that I have a thriving business?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, even if this series is for anybody that, actually, for people that don't even want to become a coach, in the sense, because, you know, it's going to help them understand that it's important to, whenever you want to create something in your reality, so say a new client in any type of business or any type of situation, it's all, everything's energy. So we have to start with the energy that we give out. Is it coming from lack, or is it coming from abundance? Because that's what we're going to ultimately attract into our lives. So I talk a little bit about that in the series. I don't go too much into the universal laws, but, you know, to getting your first client, it's so important, because if we're coming from a place of, like, I'm missing something, I need something, we're in lack, and we're sending a vibration of lack out into the universe, so we can't actually receive what we're looking for, because we're in that I'm missing something place. But if you're coming from a place of, I know the clients are there, which they are, they already exist in the universe, there's souls that are already out there. You know, it's just a matter of doing what we talk about in the marketing section to be able to bring those people into your world from a physical sense instead of just an energy sense.
And I'm wondering if you can expand on that, because I know in your Quantum Success Coaching Academy you talk a lot about that whole process of attracting customers versus selling. Because that's one of the other things that I think a lot of heart-centered people feel this resistance to selling because it feels like you're manipulating somebody or trying to push your product or your program on them. What's the difference between attracting customers and actually selling?
Yeah, I love that question because I know a lot of people don't like to sell, like you're saying, and especially heart-centered people, especially spiritual type of people that are, really wanting to come from a place of service. They don't want to be coming from that salesy, manipulative place, which I find comes from the lack perspective mentality, anyways. Because like you're missing something, you want to go have someone, and you want to have something do something that you want them to do. That's not necessarily in their best interest. It's like you need to get something instead of giving something. So for me, it's coming from a place of giving, of serving, of already feeling the fulfillment of that service. So it's really coming from a place of I have value. I know that what I do in my session with a client, I know the value that they're going to have in their life, the change that they're going to have in their life. So coming from that place, coming from a very generous and very giving place, it's so much more attractive than coming from I need something. It's almost like a predator type of energy versus here I am to serve you. I know I've got value. Are you the lucky one that get to serve?
And that brings up another question. A lot of times people have that feeling like I need to get clients, and then they end up working with clients that they may not want, that don't fit with them, and then they feel like, oh, I have all these clients who they're paying the bills, but they're so much work. They're so draining.
Yes.
What's your perspective on how you work with clients like that?
Well, for me, it's like if you've got clients that you're working with that are draining your energy and that you don't enjoy working with, that really is coming from a holding on to lack perspective. Because if you're not enjoying what you're doing, I've been in that situation too. As a new coach, I would have someone, I'd look on my calendar and go, oh, no. I was like, not that person today, because every session was just like pulling teeth and draining. And when I got really clear, this is not my ideal client, that's an opportunity for you to get clarity on who your ideal client is. The more clear you can get on who that person is, what their characteristics are like, how they show up, they pay their fees on time, they show up on time, they're fun to work with. I have my whole list of qualities and characteristics of my ideal client. So it's a moment to be able to get that contrast and say, okay, well, these are things I don't want in a client. What do I want? But you got to let those clients go because, think of it, they're holding a space. If you've got, room for 10 clients and you've got 10 clients that are draining you, first of all, you're not going to have the energy. It's not going to coaching. You're not going to enjoy coaching. You're not going to enjoy what you're actually naturally good at and skilled at because you're choosing and settling with the kind of clients that aren't good for you, that aren't a match. And if it's true for you, it's also true for them. So if you're not feeling good in the relationship that you have with the client, somehow you're not going to be the perfectly matched coach for them too. So you're really actually doing them a disservice if you're continuing to serve them, but you're not enjoying the process.
And I imagine in your coaching program you can go into this in a lot more in depth because it sounds to me like, oh my God, I don't want to let go of a client that's holding, that's paying my bills.
Yes.
Wait until I get another client to take their place.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. In one class, we go through how to really identify who your exact client is, like who your ideal perfect client is, and we have all the coaches go through a strategic attraction plan that allows them to feel more comfortable in a situation like that to be able to let one go. Because as you let one go, I don't care what stage of manifesting you're in. I don't care if you're in a coaching business or whatever. In order to bring something new in, you have to let something go. So just as an example, to bring in more abundance, you have to let go of negative lack thoughts. So something always in the manifestation process, there's a bringing in, there's a letting go. And it seems like the letting go, people are so want to hang on to something. And in the QSEA, we get them more comfortable with the natural progression of manifestation, which is letting go so you can bring it in, and then let it go so you can bring it in.
And I am somebody who's very interested in marketing. I find it fascinating. The psychology of marketing I find fascinating because so many, again, heart-centered people look at marketing as some type of manipulation or this force feeding, and I think that's a lot of the old paradigm. That really, it's really just sharing your message. We're getting our message out there. Right now, we're marketing. We're helping people. We're giving people quality content and letting them know who you are. But one of the biggest things I see as the old paradigm of marketing is the idea of competition. And when I first started this, I had never heard of life coaching. And when Renee, my wife, first told me about it, I was like, okay, great. Well, we got 2 kids. Got a nice, comfortable 6-figure job. What does an average life coach make? And I think at the time it was something like $20,000 for the average life coach. And she said, but Mark, you've never been average. Why do you think you would be an average life coach? And I said, wow, I think maybe you're the life coach here. So we looked it up and we saw, well, what do the top people make? And there are plenty of them making 6 figures and 7 figures. And I said, well, if there's that many out there that are making the 6 figures and 7-figure mark, I can easily make a comfortable living at it. But then I got into it and I realized I had no idea how much competition there were, how many other people there are. But I realized that there are all these different niches and everybody's got the right person. What is your take on the idea of competition in general, but specifically with coaching and helping people share their message?
Mark, I love that question. First of all, I love your wife that she held that for you. That is just so beautiful. So I just had to say that. For me, there is no competition. And why I say that is, yeah, there's a lot of people doing this, but not everybody is you, and not everybody is, me, and not everybody is whoever else is watching this, because each of us have our own life experiences. We have our own ways that we can help people. We have our own ways that we show up. We have our different stories, our different energies. We all have something that's unique and different, and that is who we are. And so the clients that, might go to you might not be my ideal client, or they're just more resonate in a space of resonance with you than they are with me. It doesn't mean that you're my competition. What I like to look at is, you're someone that I can collaborate with, and as a matter of fact, we have and are. And so it's like, competition really for me comes from a lack perspective. It's like there's this big pie in the sky, and so I better cut my share because Mark's going to cut out his share, and so it's like we got to fight for these, these only limited clients, when it's true we all have our own pie. It's like I get to decide in my pie what time and effort and energy I have for me in my life. It's not based on Mark or anybody else for that matter. It's like this is mine, and this is how many clients I can serve and hold, and I will track them from the energy I put out and the thoughts that I think and the beliefs that I hold and the strategies of getting myself out there and getting on stage or being on teleseminars or whatever it is. But I'm going to track those clients that best resonate with me, and you're going to track the clients that best resonate with you. And when we look at it from a collaborative, now it's like I'm here to support you and you're here to support me. How beautiful is it? Because it's so much more fun than you're my competition kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I want to share this story because it really hit this home for me. This really drilled it for me. I've been working with this idea of competition and this, of course, the abundant mindset for years. And when I first started the QSCA in 2008, I had my very first semester that I was filling up the class. And I told myself, I want to have 50 students. I want to have 25 in the morning class, 25 in the evening class. So everybody can get personalized attention, but 50 felt like a really good full number for me. And right when I was launching the marketing of it, I was collaborating with other people like Marcy Shimoff and Bob Doyle and people that were law of attraction people. All of a sudden, there was another law of attraction certification program that slashed their prices. It was like, and I went into like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And it was that old competitive, like, oh my God, now do I have to slash my prices? And I just took a step back and went, you know what? No. The clients that feel resonant with them will go to them. And the people that really feel like, you know what, I want to take this course because now it's cheaper, they'll go with them. But the people that really resonate with me and that are supposed to learn what they're supposed to learn within the QSCA, because I know this information isn't taught anywhere in the world, they're going to come. And I had 50 students that signed up for that very first class, irregardless of what the competition did.
Well, I love that you brought up the idea, a specific example, because that whole pricing thing is another issue that a lot of people have. And again, I focus a lot on the marketing side of it, the sales side of it. I see that as one of the big challenges. But I think there are a lot of other probably challenges, and I'd love to hear what some of the biggest challenges were for you in starting off as a coach and even now. But a lot of it for me is that you don't need to be certified or anything else. Anybody can just go out there and be a coach. and it creates a problem where there's a lot of people who have really great wisdom and great knowledge, but they don't know how to leverage that as a coach, and may not get the same success, may not get the same kind of testimonials, and cause all kinds of other problems. Do you actually teach the process of being a good coach?
Absolutely, yeah, you're right. Because I was a coach for years and I wasn't certified. And you can go, anybody can go out and just start, coaching now. The difference is, though, is that when you go through a certification program, you learn so much more and you achieve growth. Because back to what you were talking about before, it's like, gosh, the average coach makes $20,000. Well, I'm not average. What do you want to make? Because I find that that's the biggest challenge for every single coach, is that owning your own value, allowing yourself. I mean, I had this issue too. I was making over $100,000 a year in corporate America, but the first time I had to ask someone for $65 for an hour session, I was like, it's something different about having someone pay you for your services in that coaching arena. And I find that when a coach can shift their internal value system in the sense of they owning what they're worth and knowing the value that they give a client, then that's when they can make a lot more money. That's when truly they start making a lot more money. And in the Coaching Academy, we teach structures of a call, tons of it. We have 3 modules just on different processes that are so effective. And we teach a business building module because, like we're talking about, you could be the best coach in the world, but if nobody knows about you, you don't know how to get yourself out there, you're not going to make a lot of money. You're not going to have a lot of clients.
And you also mentioned that the whole thing about coming from corporate America, having no problem making 6 figures, but then you go to ask somebody for $65 and feel like, how am I qualified to do that? Even before you're qualified, that whole idea about, who am I to coach this? It just seems like such an overbearing thing. Is there something? Are you able to address that even in the course?
Absolutely. And what happened for me too, it's really about confidence. And through the course, we have literally the most comprehensive and transformational coach training program in the world, because of the fact that we teach people, like, they're learning how to coach every step of the way. We actually give them clients to practice with, because most of it is having confidence. When you see someone, the first time you coach them, you're like, I'm actually good at this. And they get some result, and then they tell you back, like, wow, this is my testimonial. It builds your self-confidence. And the more you want to do it, and the better you feel about it, the more that value you can, give another person. So the next person you coach, it's like, wow, I love doing this. This is so great. And then, wow, they're, coming back telling me how their life is transforming. So it's constant feedback, and it's a constant build-up and self-confidence. So you're actually doing that step by step along the way during the certification program. You're getting hands-on feedback, and that really builds your self-esteem, and that really helps with your own owning of your own value.
Well, something that just keeps coming to me, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but I have to ask, if you have it all, does that mean now you don't have any more problems and challenges, and everything is just easy for you as a coach? Not just in your, how do you deal with your own challenges? What comes up for you?
Mark, I love that you're asking that question, because that is such a perception that most people have. Oh, she's an author, she's a coach, her life is perfect. I'm a human being. I have problems and issues. They're a lot smaller than they used to, and I have a lot more tools and skills to learn how to move through them than I have in the past. So something that is like an issue or a problem when it comes up, where it used to level me before, and that might have been like my total focus, for days or maybe weeks, or became a huge issue or a problem. Now it's just contrast that shows up. It's like, okay, well, I don't want that. How do I get out of it? How do I shift from this situation and move into what I do want? I have a different perspective. It's like what I wrote about in The Art of Having It All. Contrast is always going to show up for all of us, because we live in a world that's literally full of variety. I like to think of it as a big, huge buffet, and just full of every single type of food there is on the planet. And for me, I'm not a curry person. I don't like foods that have curry. So I walk up to the buffet, and it's like I can either just go, oh, okay, that's curry section, I don't want that, but I'm going to focus over here. What most people do, what I used to do in my past, is like, there's curry on my buffet. Like, I can't even go past, I can't even eat now. Like, I can't choose my food. Like, the curry is just right there. It becomes the focus. It becomes literally the lens through which we look through. And now it's just like, oh, there's curry. okay, what else is there? You know, so because I have that skill set, I'm able to look past the curry. I'm able to look past that and focus on what do I want. So yes, life is, life is always a moving, evolving, expanding thing. I'm a moving, evolving, expanding being, and I might have preferred before is a different thing that I prefer now. So, like the house that we live in, perfect example. The house we live in, it's great. It was perfect for 4 years ago. I've outgrown it, and I definitely want to, go get into something bigger and better. And so that's the contrast that I'm in right now. Big problem, right? It's like my closet's not big enough for my shoes. But you know what I mean? It's like that's my contrast. So what do I need to move in to have my dream closet?
That's a great example, and it speaks a lot about just, as we grow and evolve, our problems change. But even little tiny problems used to really throw me into a tailspin. Something like a little technical glitch where we can't communicate on getting on board on the internet. You didn't even look like you broke a sweat. Like you're like, this is what happens. And I'm the same way. But I used to literally, if I was having a challenge, I'd start sweating and get all confused and like lose my place and everything else. So just having that perspective seems to really be able to handle the big problems like getting a new house to small problems like technical challenges.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up too, because it's like I was here ready to go and I'm like, something's not working, but it's like we have a choice in how we react. We can freak out, or it's like, okay, instead of just like, I can't get on, it's like, look for the solutions. Look for, like I talk about in the art of having it all. There's 9 options for every given situation. So I'm trying to get my husband to help. It wasn't helping on my computer. And then it's like, he's like, do you want my computer? And I'm like, yeah. So now I'm on his computer, and it's like you look for different solutions, and when you look for the different solutions, you look for the different openings, that's when they come through, and that's when the solutions emerge. So.
Well, yeah, that's, again, just a really clear example of how your ability to respond can totally change how everything else happens after that. And you've written several books. You have the Quantum Success Coaching Academy. You also have the Enlightened Kids Academy, which is really a program which is really exciting for me. I'm curious what the inspiration for writing Having It All. Why write another book? Well, what needed to be said there?
Yeah, I needed to write another book, like a hole in the head, because my life's not full enough, right? No, what happened to me, I was pretty much going about my very full and beautiful life, and I was at a conference. It was actually a PR conference, and I was pitching to the different parts of the media, so different stories that they could use in their magazines, TV shows, things like that. And I happened to walk up to a freelance writer for New York Magazine, and I said to her, I got the perfect pitch for you. And she's like, what? And I said, what do all New York women want? And she said, what? And I said, they want it all. And she immediately said to me, women can't have it all. And I was like, literally in the world that I have created, I get to play and be with people like you, Mark. We're at a very different consciousness in the sense of we're abundant-minded. And the people that I have associated that are working with me on my dream team, that are my husband, the nanny I have, the people I get to associate with, in my world, unless it's like a family that, that haven't necessarily changed themselves, like mom and dad, who I love very much, but still are in that lack perspective, my world is pretty much like that. So when I was told women can't have it all, I was like, wait, what? And she goes, there's a book that's just been written. This woman tells women that they can't have it all, they have to choose. And I was like, seriously? And she goes, do you know anybody who has it all? And I said, yeah, I know many people who have it all, myself included. And so I started kind of describing my having it all to her. She handed me back my one sheet, and she goes, I won't be needing this because I don't believe women can have it all. And I just I felt this eruption in me. I'm like, therein lies the problem. And so 10 minutes later, all of a sudden I'm like, where's my journal? And I just started going. And it's like books just kind of come through me. It's not, I don't ever get to my computer and go, I'm going to write a book today and start typing. It's like it's just a download that happens, and it's happened for every book that's come through me. And for 2 weeks straight, it was like I even told my kids, just bless them. At the time they were 3 and 4, and told my husband, when you see the journal and the pen, just give me a moment. Don't mommy me. Don't baby, I need something. Just give me 2 minutes. the download will come through, and they were so gracious to just go, oh, she's got her journal and pen, and it just came through me. So
I really like how you talk about it. We're kind of in our own world, and I love the world that we live in, and there's no going back. Like you said, we're not going to unbirth this baby. But once you have that mindset, I tend to forget that that's not where everybody else is. And to have that inspiration from somebody makes you realize, wow, there's another segment that I get to serve. This is the problem that they're having, that they think that they can't have it all. And I've become aware of that with one of my coaches who works on money mindset issues and talks about the different vows that we make as children, or the different things that come up for us through our own experience that create these belief patterns that a lot of women have. You can either be a good mom or you can be a successful business person, but you can't be both. And again, there's very clear evidence that you're an amazing mom and a very successful businesswoman.
Thank you. Yeah, I truly believe that it's like if we desire something, I'm clear I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom because I've got a purpose, I've got a creative expression that I want to give into the world. And when I'm coaching, when I'm writing, when I'm doing this, I'm so completely aligned. I feel like I'm truly on purpose in every single cell of my being. And yet I wouldn't want to live just doing this. It's like I love my family space, and I love being silly and playing board games and rolling around the ground and teaching them. I was teaching the kids the other day about how we're energy towers and what we're sending out is coming back, and thanking the universe that example actually came back and showed one of my sons, an example of it. And it's like, I feel like in this partnership and collaboration to teach my children at a very young age how to stay enlightened, because we created the Enlightened Kid program. It's like we don't have to enlighten them; they already came through enlightened. It's just keeping them that way. And so I really feel like I do want to have it all, and I do already have it all. And for someone to say I can't do something, that's why for me it was important to get luminaries like yourself on board, because I didn't want, it's like I believe this, I teach this, but it's not just me. There's so many others of us out there, like you said, that are in this world that teach abundance mindset, that teach prosperity, that teach how to have it all and live from that space. And that's why it's like it was important for me to create a movement, not just a book.
Mm-hmm. I love that. It's a movement, not just a book. And again, you deal a lot with women, and this was a question about women being able to have it all. I know that for men, my father was working all the time. My wife's father had 2 different jobs to support them, and that we have this idea that we need to work hard to support our family, and a lot of times at the sacrifice of being with our family. So taking care of, putting bread on the table, however you want to say it, is like that male role. But for me, I've always known that I wanted to be a father, not just a provider. Being able to provide and be a father is a great blessing. But being a father is so important that, like you said, our children come here enlightened, and the only thing that puts those filters on them is us. So if we're not setting that example, then we're dimming their light. And I believe that it is our children that are changing the world because of the example that you're setting. How do you do that? Besides the fact that you have a balanced life, what do you teach maybe in the Enlightened Kids program that other parents can do from wherever they are? If they're not currently having an abundant life financially, that they can still create a better life for their children and set a better example, I guess.
For me, it's really the beliefs that they hold, and so that always starts with a thought. And so, like, I can see my son Alex; he's about to turn 6 next month, and so, like, if he gets in trouble for doing something, right, he'll say, "I'm the worst kid in the world," and I'm like, well, if you want to believe that, you can, but that's not true. And he came up with one day, and I use this, as part of the Enlightened Kid program, is that he said that there are bad soldiers and there are good soldiers. And sometimes the bad soldiers, like thoughts, win, and sometimes the good soldiers that are good thoughts win. And so today he was saying, I had to go to my room twice yesterday. I'm a bad kid or something. He said something like that. I guess I'm not a good kid. And I said, well, sounds like your bad soldiers are kind of taking over right now. I said, you want your bad soldiers to win or your good soldiers? And he said, my good soldiers. And I'm like, okay, so let's do some affirmations, because we have a affirmation poster in the Enlightened Kid program. For 0 to 2, it's the parents reading it to the baby. But when 2 to 5 and then 5 to 8, they say, instead of it being you are, it's I am. And so I said, okay, start saying with me, I am free. And he's like, I'm free. I'm like, I'm free of these bad thoughts. I'm free of these bad thoughts. You know, so it's like, I'm free, I'm love, I'm good. And so he started repeating it. And I said, are your good soldiers kind of kicking in? He's like, yeah, within seconds. And the kids are so quick. You know, like the bad little pity party he kind of got into, where the bad soldiers were taking over, the good soldiers kind of came in. And it's just really quick. Like if he got in trouble with something, you know, I'll just have him repeat a bunch of different times, I'm love, I'm good, I'm love, I'm good, until he like really feels it at a cellular level. It's the same thing with kids as adults. We have these affirmations that can really help us, but most adults go, I'm a money magnet. You know, so it's like there's no energy happening, you know, I'm abundant. It's just like it's just, you know, there's nothing happening energetically, and it needs to be, I'm abundant, and like feeling that, and you know, I'm a money magnet, and like feeling that energy. And when I have my son repeat that, I'm good, you know, I'm good, I'm good, you know, it's like he starts to feel that, and that's when the mood changes. So
to me, that warms my heart, because again, it's just reprogramming or keeping the programming of our children positive and uplifting. Just like you said, they come in as beings of light, and then it's just all of these other programmings that come on, and usually we just pass on the programming that we have. So because you've done so much of your own inner work, then you get to pass that on to them now.
absolutely, and you just said the biggest key. I mean, I could be telling him how great he is all day long, but if I'm not willing to do my inner work and make amends where I messed up because my old pattern shows up, and go, oh man, I messed up there, and then shift that myself and do my own inner work, I'm just going to be completely feeding that cycle that I got from my mom and dad. It's like, here it goes down the line, but because it's like buck stops here, it's like, wow, that was such a missed target of how I wanted to parent, what I wanted to say, how I wanted to, you know, be in relationship with my husband, and have my son see my relationship and that interaction with my husband, see the way I talk to my husband, you know, all that different stuff. I mean, human, and I'm definitely not perfect, and I have my stuff that comes up and my old programming that comes up, and it's up for me in that moment to go, gosh, guys, I'm sorry, you know, that really didn't feel good to you, it didn't feel good to me, and I choose to show up this way instead. You know, it breaks up the energy right there, so that they don't have to continue to have it be such an unconscious thing that they just pick up without even questioning.
It's beautiful. And I know you were talking about your son, and what you put out comes back, and you were just put out your last video was about the boomerang, and how things are coming back. You also you were talking about just doing the inner work and how it helps your family, your husband, your kids. What about as a coach? You know, could you also, in one of your recent videos, say that you have several different coaches that you continue to use? How does that being coached process help you to be a better coach?
Oh, that is such a great question. The more inner work that I do, the more happier I become, more aligned that I become, the clearer that I become, the freer that I become from my old stuff, the more I'm able to show up as a coach. Like the more inner work that I can help my clients that are here, here. So
Oh,
because
I think I lost you.
I could take my client to deeper
Christy, you're breaking up a little bit again. Can you hear me? Are you still there? I have one last question I wanted to ask if there was anything else you wanted to share, but I'm losing you completely. I know that we're just about out of time. I'll see if you are coming back on, but while we're here, I want to encourage everyone to go check out Christy Whitman's free training videos at inspiredmessengersnetwork.com/QSCA, Quantum Success Coaching Academy, and you can become part of our community. You'll learn incredibly valuable information about the coaching industry. I want to check with her, but I believe you can go to ChristyWhitman.com and learn more about her other programs and her book as well. You Can Have It All. So let me see, Christy, are you able to connect? I'm sorry that we're not able to hear that important last part of the answer, because I think that's such an important part of coaching. It is constantly being coached, and I appreciate the wisdom, Christy, that you've been able to share with us. I know we're kind of hitting the top of the hour here, and that you've got to run, but I hope that we can continue this conversation. Maybe we'll be able to wrap it up in a quick video later in the future and just kind of add that in. Either way, I'm just very, very grateful for you spending this time with us, for you helping enlighten the world through the work you're doing with coaches, as well as what you're doing with your own children and your family, and just the energy and light that you're putting out into the world. So I don't see that you're coming back on. I don't know if you want to go in and out. You may just disconnect and then reconnect. That might bring it back on. We can just edit this out. Okay, well, I'm not sure. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to reconnect with Christy, but I'll give it a minute and just see if she comes back on the air. And if not, we'll try to wrap this up another time. So I'm going to just check in real quick. We can always edit this piece. Hey, Christy. I'm not sure. It's showing that you're completely disconnected. I was wondering if you wanted to try to get back on just for 2 minutes to say goodbye, and then we can edit that part out. Yeah, I'll just resend the invite. Up. I just figured then we can. Oh, yeah, it sounds like you're coming back. There you are. Okay. That's right. We still have the same clothes on with this I don't know what happened, but you're talking about the importance of being coached as a coach. Do you want to talk about that a little bit more before we say goodbye?
Absolutely. Yeah, for me, it's important as a coach to continue to be committed to my own growth because if I stop here, I can coach clients to here. But if I continue to grow higher and deeper, then I can take my clients to a higher and deeper place. The more value that I understand I have myself, the more I can teach that to other people. So, I think it's just really important. And I love what one of my mentors says about business, and especially it relates to coaching is that we don't grow our businesses grow us.
Mhm.
And that's what I love so much about being a coach and in the business that we're in is that when it's not like just okay, I have a goal of this. It's like when we put a goal out there, when we put an intention out there, we have to become that person to receive that intention. And the fun for me is always in the growth process, because once you get to the place and you get the goal, it's like wow, the goal, it's like yay, I attained it, but it was the juice was really in the growth that happened and who I became as a person because of that process.
Mm, beautiful. I'm so glad that we got to get that in there. I really appreciate you sharing that. And I wanted to check to make sure we gave out the website where they can go to sign up for the free videos. Is there a great way to just connect with you directly, your website?
ChristyWhitman.com.
I gave that out while you were indisposed, so okay, that's perfect. ChristyWhitman.com, and again, InspiredMessengers Network.com/QSCA to sign up for the free video series. Christy, I really appreciate you being here. I'm really grateful for everything that you're doing and that you're bringing into the world. Is there anything else that you'd like to say before we say goodbye?
I want to say that back to you too as well. I mean, I appreciate being a collaborating partner with you. I appreciate what you're doing in your aspect of the world and your own pie, and how you show up. And it's just amazing to have other luminaries out there that I could connect with at this level to have the depth of conversation. And for those of you that are watching and listening, if becoming a coach is something you've even thought about, is maybe you already are a coach, but you want a little bit more training, go check out the series. It's totally free. You'll get so many different gems and nuggets coming from that. It's me showing up and just totally giving 100% value and hoping to just serve in the best way I can.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, Christy. Much love to you and your family.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.